I think from this we have learned that there are indeed two tiers of justice. We know that D.C. is a swamp. It's full of people that are going to try to protect the FBI and the institutions. We do know that Hillary Clinton was involved in this Russia hoax. All this came from her campaign. The FBI knew that this was false. They wanted to take down Donald Trump so badly.
What a perfect time to get me Glenn Kirschner. Yes, Jen Kirkman, I brought him coffee. Hello, Glenn Kirschner. Hi.
Good morning, Steph. Hey, guys.
Who's in L.A. for Sexy Liberal with Rob Reiner?
Let's do it. Let's get our justice on.
SexyLiberal.com. Pay-per-view, you can watch from around the world. Okay, we'll get to Marsha Blackburn in a moment, but of course, because you're here, breaking news, Steve Bannon was sentenced to 4 months in prison and fined $6,500 today after being found guilty of being in contempt of Congress. Obviously, prosecutors had asked for 6 months and $200,000. Your thoughts?
So I will never again mention the name Carl Nichols without putting before it Trump appointee Judge Carl Nichols, because I think he's just distinguished himself as somebody who Donald Trump probably really appreciates. You know, it really is, it's unfathomable to me that Bannon would, you know, defendants are supposed to sit down with the pre-sentence report writers before they get sentenced and provide information so the judge has an informed basis to impose an appropriate sentence. And what Bannon said was, I'm not telling you anything about my finances. Why? Well, we know in part because he was grifting from Donald Trump's base with the bogus We Build the Wall Foundation. So what he said, Steph, is you can just impose the maximum financial penalty, $200,000. I'll take it. Put it on my tab. I'll pay it. And the judge just sentenced him to what? $6,500.
Yeah.
That, you know, that is, it's an outrage. It demeans the system.
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, now he's sending the message to future folks who might be contemplating, you know, defying congressional subpoenas, that, you know what, you land on Judge Nichols' docket, you're good. I got you.
Well, and the judge even noted Bannon's lack of remorse before handing down the ruling. He told the court others must be deterred from similarly flouting congressional authority. Well, it would seem like it sends the opposite message.
It does. And what Steve Bannon did was he protected Donald Trump. That's what he did. He didn't want to testify about the crimes of Donald Trump, not to mention his own crimes, which I hope he will be held accountable for after the midterms. And for protecting Donald Trump, a Trump appointee just handed him a gift of a sentence. I mean, if that doesn't prove the sort of deep, entrenched corruption of the ruling class criminals in this country, I don't know what does.
Yeah. Well, so Marsha Blackburn, was she basically talking about the Durham? The implosion of this, of John Durham. I don't know how many, is this 3 years? And I don't know how many taxpayer dollars. Is 0 for 2, right? This thing has just blew up in all their faces.
Durham has failed spectacularly, you know, as well he should have, because, you know, this is what I think of, Steph. If I caught an assignment as a federal prosecutor in the decades that I served in the Department of Justice, and I went about investigating a case against, I don't know, a high government official who was colluding, right, with a foreign government to try to gain unfair advantage in an American election, and I investigated that case honestly and ethically and aggressively, and then somebody turned around and said, now we need to investigate Glenn for doing his job. Are you flippin' kidding me? Well, that's what Durham did, right? He investigated the investigators who were investigating the crimes of Donald Trump, and now he has gone down in flames. That is the actual witch hunt. Ironically, let's put the Durham investigation to bed. Enough wasting taxpayers' money.
Do we? Which one is this? Oh, Alina Habba.
Bless you.
Thank you. You're welcome. This is Donald Trump's lawyer, parking garage lawyer. Here we go.
Let's remember, they didn't bring charges for Hillary. They didn't bring charges for Bill. They didn't bring charges for anybody that's shoving things down their pants or in their sock drawers or smashing phones and bleaching servers. But if it's Donald Trump, there is a double standard. It is completely despicable. We have to get this country back on track. It's really upsetting.
It is gaslighting to, I don't know, to 11 billion. Did they turn it up to 11 billion?
Yes.
I mean, it's, I don't even know what to, first of all, Hillary had 0 classified emails. Can we say that? 0. And they just keep repeating the same lies.
Yeah, and Donald Trump hasn't been charged with anything last time I checked.
Right.
So,
Right.
but he will be. He will be.
Yeah.
You wait until after the midterms. You can feel it. You can almost feel it based on some of what we're getting out of the courts right now about Donald Trump from David Carter. God bless the judge out in California, Judge David Carter.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming.
You tweeted Judge David Carter rules that Trump knowingly filed false documents in court, and yes, this constituted yet another crime by Donald Trump. It really does get hard to keep track.
And this one is not different in quantity, but it's different in quality, because now a federal judge said, you, Donald Trump, knowingly signed a false certification to the court claiming there was election fraud when you knew there was none. That's different in quality because, Donald Trump is good about insulating himself from putting things in writing, right? He's always trying to blame somebody else because, hey, you don't see my signature on, well, now we have your signature on something. This is different in quality.
I thought it was a bad week for Trump, which makes it an exponentially better week for me. And you said another week gone with no accountability, though, for Trump and his dozens of co-conspirators and no concrete signs of imminent indictments of any of the suits of the insurrection. This is no way to assure we, the people, of the legitimacy of the DOJ. Frustration is winning out today over patience. It really is hard, isn't it? Because just the rulings this week, like you were saying with Judge Carter, you're like, okay.
Yeah, it's weird when you have 2 of the 3 co-equal branches of government having concluded and announced Donald Trump committed federal felony crimes. The judiciary has been screaming it from the rooftops in various cases when they're dealing with cases regarding the insurrectionists, the boots, the people who Donald Trump ordered to attack the Capitol. Many of those folks are going to prison. Yeah. And Donald Trump, who gave the unlawful order, is out there golfing. That's a deep injustice at play in America right now. You have Congress, another branch of government that has shown us, God bless Congress, because they've shown us in the J6 public hearings precisely the crimes that Donald Trump committed. The problem is there's only one branch of government that can actually prosecute him, the executive branch, the Department of Justice. So it feels like they're playing catch up. But, right now, I'm going to shut my mouth about my frustrations until after the midterms.
Right.
Because, let's wait it out. Let's not drive Republicans to the polls by announcing on the eve of the midterms, Donald Trump is finally indicted. We'll wait it out. Merrick Garland, he's trying to rebuild the credibility and the legitimacy of the Department of Justice. Wait until after the midterms, and then we better see indictments, and I believe we will.
Yeah, you hit an optimistic note on Twitter as well. You said new reporting, Trump prosecutors see evidence for obstruction charges. Feels like we could see indictments by the first of the year. Please don't lose faith, don't lose hope, don't lose optimism. That's precisely what Trump and company want you to do. Don't give them the satisfaction. I feel that too in my bones that it's coming, but I think it does feel interminable because you're right, like every day is new crimes that we hear about on top of old crimes.
Yeah.
And I know there was some reporting, right, that, Merrick Garland won't go with just obstruction of justice.
No, that was Bloomberg, I think, reported that apparently the federal prosecutors who are investigating Donald Trump have concluded, and I'm not sure where Bloomberg is getting it, but have concluded there is ample evidence to charge him with obstruction for what he was doing with our classified documents and national defense secrets down at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
But I can almost guarantee you, having worked and tried obstruction cases, you don't just bring obstruction.
Right.
You bring all of the other crimes that your obstruction was designed to get you out of. That's why you obstruct, because you committed a rack of other offenses and you don't want to be caught. So what do? You obstruct. He's going to get back. Look at that search warrant. I recommend everybody reread the search warrant for Mar-a-Lago, because a federal judge said, there are 3 crimes for which there are probable cause to believe there's evidence of crime at Mar-a-Lago. There is unlawfully removing and concealing documents. There's obstruction of justice. And the big one, there's a crime under the Espionage Act of mishandling national defense information. I predict you're going to see an indictment for all 3 of those and then some.
Yeah.